Welcome to another video. I'm Dylan Digital, and I'm going to be leveling you up when it comes to understanding the job market of 2025. Yeah, we're going to be using Huntr reports. We've actually have a series going on here where we go over Huntr's 2025 report. This is Q1. They already have Q2, but I have other videos to make, but this is still some good content, getting a good understanding of what's going on actually on the job hunt using Huntr. If you don't know what Huntr is, it's a great tool when using it on the job hunt. I used it in the past. It was a very good tool that helped kept things organized and things like that. Don't worry, I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. It helps you with your resume, applying to jobs, keeping everything in order so you could not apply to the same job twice. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. Let's see. We left off at the education requirements. So let's check this one out. And this is going over the education requirements for degree by job title. And let's see, customer support is the lone major field where most jobs, 61% of them anyway, based off of the analysis data from Huntr, don't demand college degrees, which is pretty cool. Of course, customer support, because customer support, that's something that's trainable, right? The same thing goes for like administrative, critical. But human resources and recruitment, that's my field. 86% of people just need a bachelor's degree for this. And look at that. None, not even one. I think, it's the only one out of this that only has the bachelor's or no degree. Anything higher is like a waste of money. And uncategorized. I wonder, science and research, 62% is bachelor's degree, while 33 is like higher, which is pretty good, like biology and stuff like that. I know a few biology people out there, so that's good. That's good to know. Creative, bachelor's degree at least. Wow, education, only 11%. I was thinking that would be higher. Because there's in my 9 to 5 work, I do 9 to 5 work and Dylan Digital and make YouTube content. Let's not get into it. Anyway, in my 9 to 5 work, I do some recruitment for social work in New York City, right? And there's this one particular role that's dealing with teaching early childhood master's degree is what we're looking for the Staten Island area. So if you have a requirement like that and you're looking for like a substitute teacher role in Staten Island, hit me up on LinkedIn. Let's talk. But this makes sense here because you definitely need a degree to teach other people, when it comes to the education system. Consulting, bachelor's, that's good because I do some consulting work on the side. IT, look at that, 94.9 is mostly a bachelor's, which is pretty wild. And data and analytics, wow, he has a master's degree for that? Wow. And you can see the other ones here. Let's see. Huntr's Q1 2025 education requirement snapshot analyzes 87,970 U.S. job postings spread across 18 job board categories. Overall, employees still lean heavily on formal credentials. 88 of postings ask for at least a bachelor's degree, which is what we're seeing here, while 7.7 accept sub-bachelor qualifications, 3.8 specify an advanced degree. The 10 largest hiring categories above reveal where that pattern holds and where it breaks. Interesting. Let's move on to the next one. Field of study requirements by industry. Before you dive in, the figures below come from Huntr user submitted job postings data set, which we know, and our user base skews heavily towards IT. Okay. IT and tech roles, which is interesting because there's been a lot of layoffs in 2025 with a lot of tech layoffs, especially in the video game industry. I made a few videos on it on my channel already. I think the biggest one is like Xbox with sorry for the pun, over 9,000 people getting laid off for Xbox alone. But let's get back into this. That makes technical majors are likely overrepresented compared with the broader labor market. Treat the percentage as directional rather than definitive. Okay, cool. And how often each field of study is mentioned in job requirements, broken down by industry of, okay. So field study requirement mentions by the industry. The percentage of field of study mentions in job postings across industries. Okay, so this is very tech skewed. So as you can tell, most of their users are tech in the tech space. So this is very skewed towards tech, as you can see, which is quite interesting. And then we have the business side. We have engineering, which is actually pretty low for interesting. And then we have the math. We have design. And then we have the rest here. Wow, life science is pretty low over here. But when it comes to pharmaceuticals, yeah, that makes sense for pharmaceuticals, life science. Okay. All right. So moving on to top fields of study in demand. Tech talent gap widens. Computer science dominates job market with over 25,000 openings in Q1 alone. Wow. And this is top fields of study by demand. Computer science is still a thing. I mean, I wonder if they're taking into account like the rise of AI and things like that. Let me see. Computer science dominate the job market with 125. Okay, requiring this educational background. Approximately 35% of job specifying fields of study requirements. Engineering follows as the second most sought after qualification with nearly 19,000 listings represented by the 25.5% of the market. Business, mathematics, and statistics round up about the top 5. Okay, with the 31,000 postings. Okay. So computer science is the best. Engineering. I'm glad that business in there because back in the day, showing my age, I'm 32 now as of the making of this video. I went to college. I went to college for a hospitality degree, but I decided to pivot into business because like halfway in my term when I was like a sophomore, I kind of said to myself, you know what, business makes more sense because I could do more things. It's more generalized. I could do a lot of things with that and still be in hospitality, by the way, if I ever want to go down that path. And the best part is most of my credits, almost all my credits transferred over. I think it was like 2 credits that didn't transfer over, which is fine because I still graduated within 4 years. So that's pretty cool. So business is up there. There'll always be a need for business, which is pretty cool. Mathematics, statistics. I took statistics class. It was pretty good. Good teacher. Good teacher, for sure. Information technology. What's the lowest here? Psychology. It makes so much sense. Because not a lot of people will go into social work, Not a lot. which is unfortunate because it's important work. After being in the field for like what, at this point, 7 months, I could see like a very strong need of it, especially in cities. Especially in cities. Finances here, electrical, okay, communications, accounting, marketing is very low. Interesting. I guess you could pick up skills marketing offhand, but you don't really need a degree for marketing. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty, then yeah, yeah, okay. Let's see. Fields of studies growing in demand. Okay, this one's good. Ah, see, look, you see, marketing is higher up here. The world is changing. The analysis examines changing requirements for fields of study in tech job postings, comparing Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. The data shows the relative growth percentage for fields that experience a significant percentage point increase in job listings mentioning in these qualifications. So this is the field of study with significant growth in job requirements. Okay. So there's more of a need for marketing in this space. 44. Wow. But the highest is communications. Okay. 54%. It has something here for communications. Communications shows the highest relative growth at 54%, while other business related oriented fields like accounting and business administration also shows the substantial gains. This suggests employers are increasingly seeking candidates with strong business and communication abilities alongside technical expertise. Okay, that's cool. Graphic design is getting lower. Yeah, I mean, with the rise of AI, man, it makes it easy to do graphic design, man. So going to college for graphic design isn't the move, I feel. Definitely isn't the move. You definitely could pick up those skills offhand. And then the lowest here is like business. Okay. Let's pivot into field of studies with declining demand, which is on the other side of things, and the highest is statistics. Ooh. And then we have information technology. Okay. Which is interesting. Data science, information systems. This makes sense because you got big tech companies are still, even though they're laying off a lot of people, they're still hiring a lot of people, which is wild. But they're gonna hire a lot of people, mostly do those people like hire these people offshore so they could save more money. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing when it comes to the job market and how the playing the corporate game. Engineering is declining. Okay. Wow, high statistics. Okay. Equivalent experience acceptance. Smaller firms most likely to value experience over degrees, data shows. Okay. It's a good pivot. Based on Hunter's data, smaller companies show a notable higher willingness to accept equivalent experience instead of formal education credentials. Companies with 11 to 50 employees lead with the highest acceptance rates of 42%. 11 to 50. Closely by micro. Okay. And then mid-size. Interesting. Depending on if the company, what kind of company it is, they probably give you smaller salary for less of a risk, maybe. Yeah, this goes to show you guys that showcasing your work is so important. It's so important in this day and age. Like building in public, showcasing your work with case studies and examples of what you brought to the table and how you did it and the result, aka, use that star method. It's so important now these days because there's so much people looking for work. It's insane how much people are looking for work right now, and you need to do something different than just submitting your resume in and just forgetting about it. That's why there's LinkedIn there to showcase your work. Can network with other people, actually have a Zoom call and talk to people. You know, add value to them, help them using your skills, ask nothing for return. And then once you, like a few months later after helping them, you say, hey, I'm looking for work. Do you have any connections? Like, build that relationship. Give, 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 give. Ask. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So let's see here. Equivalent experience acceptance by company size. Oh, irrelevant. I mean, a relevant experience acceptance by company size. Wow. So the highest, the largest amount of people I've ever been in when it comes to corporate environment was like 1,000 employees. That was at that place that, gave me the axe Halloween layoff. Was the largest one actually. Actually, no. Whoa, I'm forgetting. Man, I've been working for a bit. Wow, I'm forgetting. SMS Holdings. I used to work for them. A company in Tennessee. They had like over, God, way more than 1,000. I think it was 10,000. I think it was 10,000, something like that. It was a large amount of people, but yeah, man. Smaller companies is willing to take a chance here. From one to, well, one is like a solopreneur kind of thing. From like, you know, 1 to 200, they're willing to take more of a chance in the 40s, and then they kind of dips. It goes lower as the employees increase in numbers. Okay. All right. Let's check out top job categories accepting equivalent irrelevant experience, degree or no degree. All right. So IT operations lead the field where experience trump education. Okay. Based on the data presented in our Q1 2025 analysis, there is a revealing pattern in which job categories are most open to irrelevant to equivalent experience instead of formal education. Okay. IT operations lead the field with shrinking 76.92% of the job listings accepting experience as an alternative qualification. Followed by community roles for 70 and the quality assurance at 68% security positions, which most likely encompass IT security roles, which makes sense, show a substantial acceptance rate of 62%. Huh. What particularly noteworthy is that even if the latest flexible categories like management with 50 and design with 51, approximately half of all job postings still recognize the value of partial practical experience. Yeah, practical experience. Okay, and that makes sense. Job categories most open to irrelevant with equivalent experience. Okay. For Q1 2025. All right. So IT operations here with 76. Then we have the community here. What's the lowest one? Management. I'm surprised that makes sense because you gotta actually do know how to, like, management is like a whole different ball game because you gotta do your work and plus know how to manage people and different personalities at times, and that could get tricky. That could get tricky for sure. This is the section that I really wanted to get into. Artificial intelligence, AI skills. AI skills appear in over 6,300 unique job postings with AI and artificial intelligence, okay? Dominating requirements while specific platforms like OpenAI, API emerge as key technical. That makes sense. This makes sense. And this is the top 25 AI skills in the job market, and just listing AI. There it is. Artificial intelligence is number two. So I'm guessing just, wow, it's like, let me see, is that doubled? Almost, almost doubled, but yeah, almost doubled. But yeah, that's a lot. Generative AI, AI tools. Okay, what's the lowest one? Artificial intelligence. Okay, so that one is like 86. So just putting AI and artificial intelligence is useful. You know, I'm not just saying just your resume need to your resume needs to kind of fit the job for sure, that you're applying to. But I like to do like different categories. So if I'm going for like a talent acquisition focused kind of resume, it's going to be geared towards that. If I'm doing something with content creation, I'll do it towards that, and just have like different resumes. The sounds of New York City. Have different resumes that fit different job categories within my career. So so yeah, and there's a lot of AI here. They don't care much about this, but AI, yeah. So if you're going for AI, just stick with AI, just normal AI or artificial intelligence. Blah, mush mouth. Okay, so let's see here. We have industry here. Industry. Okay. How we came up with the rankings. Oh, this is just going over how they came up with the rankings here. Okay. West Coast dominates tech with over 50% industry concentration, while Charlotte emerges as a surprising multi industry hub. Wow, Charlotte, right? That's a place I actually considering on moving to from New York City to Charlotte. Something to think about, but top five cities by industry, by job, by industry job. Wow, pharmaceuticals. That's the hub. Okay. This is really good information right here. Banks, Charlotte. Wow. I guess that's mostly where all the top banks are, presumably. Let me see. Media, Los Angeles, New York. Makes sense. Makes sense for that. Let me see. Professional services. Let me see. Professional services. I wonder what they mean by professional services. Okay, let's find all the Charlotte ones here. Charlotte here. Charlotte in finance. Let's see. No Charlotte. No Charlotte. No Charlotte. Okay. It's these two. Interesting. Okay. Location requirements. Location requirements by company size. Smaller companies are more remote friendly and more transparent, which makes sense because they're small costs, especially if you don't have a location. If they don't have a location, then it's golden, right? But most of these companies have locations that they pay rent on, and they have to justify that cost. Remember, companies, they always think about costs with revenue, and just, they always think about that. Always remember, payroll is the expense. Remember that. Remember that payroll is an expense to them. When you get into this high level C-suite talk and stuff like that, it's an expense. So keep that in mind when you're on the job hunt and working. So for job seekers targeting remote work, startups present the best odds, which makes sense. If our data in our data sample, we found that there were 9,112 Jobs for companies between 1 to 10 employees. Yep. Companies with over 1,000 or more employees posted 16, like about 16,000 jobs, and most likely to not disclose a location preference. Okay. So let's see here. So work location requirements by company side, none mentioned. So wow, yeah, they don't really specify there, but let's just kind of focus on the remote. Let's just say like here, yeah, the smaller ones went out, especially here, 51 to 250. And keep in mind that the reason why that they you may see job postings that say remote but only in X state is because they have to pay taxes on those different states. So they have to like pick and choose that, okay, which states makes more sense for us for people to work remotely. The only thing I just don't like about some of these postings is that when they do remote, sometimes they say remote, but only in this state. So why not just put that in the at the top, not even at the top, in the as title, saying remote, not even remote, but X whatever the role is. Let's just say marketing director in the marketing director TA or marketing director NYC or something like that, so people could know. But hey, neither here or there, man. Sometimes they put it way at the bottom. Just put it at the top of the job description. Let people know. Save less. You save more time. You have a smaller amount of people hopefully applying that actually read that. If they don't, put it in the question. Put it in the questions and stuff like that. But neither or there. All right. So on site, of course, mostly on site is 1,000 plus. You get more on site people. That makes sense. Smaller companies, they have more flexibility. Hybrid work, which is becoming the norm. Remember how it was remote back in the day, COVID times? That is starting to shift. It is starting to shift for sure. Okay, interesting. Let's move on to the next one. Location requirements by job category. Customers facing and creative roles lead the remote revolution, but STEM and finance jobs remain office bound. Maybe for security reasons for this, maybe just thinking from the top of my head. Certain job categories were most likely to hire remote workers, leading the way in customer support and service. All right, so let's check it out. So, job categories by work arrangement type. So, science and research, they definitely want that to be on site because that's definitely like a in-person kind of role, especially doing research and stuff. Like my wife has a biology degree and she used to do horseshoe crabs. She used to kind of do research on horseshoe crabs for her schooling, and that's a lot of in-person work, right? That's a lot of in-person work and actually getting there and like doing the work in person. So that makes sense. Finance and accounting, maybe security reasons why they have that. Hybrid too is high as well. That makes sense. Administrative, yeah, that makes sense. It could be on site. Maybe a lot of paperwork needs to be pushed or something like that. Customer support, as we could tell, like remember earlier on in this video was talking about how customer support was like the biggest one when it comes to that type of work. It shows up here too. Let me see. HR, yeah, HR is like mostly remote, which makes sense, hybrid as well. Yeah, HR is definitely a function you could do remotely, which is something I like. Media and communications. Yep, definitely could do that remotely. Legal stuff. Oh, you see, I knew it. on site because it's legal. You want to keep that stuff security wise. It makes sense to kind of keep it in person. Marketing, mostly remote. Uncategorized, we don't know what that is. Okay, let's see. Education and training. Yeah, with how, especially back in the day with COVID and stuff like that, they moved the schoolings and stuff online. And I'm guessing now the Department of Education is saying, hey, we could do this online, but keep in mind they pay the rent, they pay the electric bill and stuff like that. And, that's that's kind of changing too, quite honestly. IT, of course, you could do that remotely. You could just call in the console and just be like, use the computer and just fix the issue there. IT security, yep, same thing. Creative, yep, yeah, that's cool. Let's see. Monthly trends in location requirements. Nearly half of all job postings now skip location requirements entirely as hybrid and on site language fades. Interesting. June, the 6 month window from October 2024. What are you doing there, Papa? You good? My dog. Doggy causing some issues back there. During the 6 month window from October 2024 to March 2025, we track thousands of unique job postings on Huntr and group each one as its primary location requirement. Remote, hybrid, on site, or none of mentioned. Interesting. Okay, so monthly trends and location requirements. Okay. So this was when I got laid off here. So mostly non. Mm, so they didn't really put it on the job description here. But yeah, mostly remote. Okay. Okay, whoa. That was a big dip from on site from December 2024 to the new year of 2025. That's a big decrease from hybrid. It's like 2%. It's interesting. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Skill points. So skill requirements. Skill requirement count by category. So software and IT roles demand the broadest skill sets, which makes sense. And half of the postings list 13 or more distinct skills. Okay. So if you're in software and IT, you gotta pay attention to these, man. These are the skills that they really want. So like the highest skills that they want. So skill distribution by category. So transportation and logistics, 3.5 for the 25th percentile. Okay. Let me see. Let me kind of go to HR. So about 10 here for the median. That's interesting. I thought that would be higher. Okay. So yeah, looks like software and IT is only in the 10th percentile, 25th percentile with only 10. Okay. Security and law displays the widest spread, hinting a differentiated role complexity within that field. Overall, half of the postings list between 8 to 13 skills. So interesting. Huh. All right. So top skills by company size. Startups put React and TypeScript font and center, while enterprises emphasize project management and Java. Okay. So this is dealing with the skill distribution in job posting, startup versus enterprise. So the enterprise, and I forgot you could kind of click to see it here. which is pretty cool. So if we're just focusing on the startup, right? These are the skills that they need, like AWS. Is only that much? Let's put enterprise here. If it's so AWS here, I could have swore that would have been more. Let's see what the other skills I have. Prototyping, attention to detail, because they have less risk, maybe. HTML. Could have swore that would have been more. Figma. Yeah, I see Figma popping up a lot more when it comes to like IT stuff. So that makes sense that why it's higher on the list here. JavaScript, yep. Problem solving, of course, collaboration, communication skills, project management, data analysis. So the as you can see, like the top ones, and that's funny, the top ones are soft skills. Collaboration and communication skills are definitely soft skills. Problem solving as well. JavaScript is like a hard skill. Project management, I would say that's a soft skill. Data analysis, hard. Definitely a hard skill. Interesting. Okay. So top skills by category. Core tools still rule. Yep. So SQL and Proton dominate data jobs, which makes sense. See, Figma. I thought, and that's the thing. Figma wasn't it here. Where's Figma? Figma's right here. Okay, so that's not bad. That's like midpoint kind of thing. So okay, Figma leads design and strong communication tops every non-tech role in Q1 2025 postings. Analysis zeros in on 6 of the busiest job family categories in Q1 2025 postings: software and IT, data and analytics, creative and design, product management, sales and business development, and information security. Together, they account for the vast majority of postings, and each shows a distinct skill fingerprint. And you can see the percentages here, but we'll look at the chart. So Proton is rank 1. Top 10 skills in software and IT. So if you're in software and IT, Q1 2025, this is important stuff to pay attention to, so you can kind of get an understanding of, okay, most of these job descriptions will want this more than AWS. It's like going out of style in a sense, like Proton is in. So it's good to kind of learn that skill. If you don't have that skill under your belt, you better start learning it and talking about your journey, learning it, and applying it to different things, and it's important. So it makes sense with 36% here. Communication. Okay. Problem solving. Okay. Problem solving. Okay. So SQL, which is high as well. JavaScript. Okay. So these are the top 3. Proton, JavaScript, and SQL. That's awesome. Oh, and they break it down for each. Okay, cool. So top 10 skills in data and analytics. Of course, data analysis is part of the top 3. Proton again. See, look at that. Proton number 1 for here. Proton number 2 for here. Okay. Top 10 skills for creative and design. Figma. Interesting. Figma's number 1 here. Okay, so if Figma was number 1 here for top 10 skills of creative and design, and just going back to this other one, because I know Figma wasn't Figma low on here? Oh no, Figma was middle point. Okay, yeah. Figma is middle point. Okay, that makes sense. With like above 1%. Okay. Collaboration, number 2. It makes sense for creative and design because you have to you definitely need people skills when you're in the creative space, so you can kind of pull the information out of the person that you're trying to make that art for, and kind of basically bring their what I'm trying to say, bring their art to life in a sense through your talents. So it makes sense why collaborations here. Definitely a soft skill because you're going to be probably working with different teams like marketing, different departments, maybe communication. Yeah, top four makes sense. Prototyping, that's interesting. Wow, UX design is 6. It's like low on the chart. Wireframing is super low. Wow. So I'm guessing this one is getting phased out probably because of AI. Because they probably could just press a button and just boom, wireframing's complete. So this is, if you're studying wireframing, definitely got to pivot, man. You got to pivot to something else for sure. Let me see, top 10 skills for product management. Of course, is number 1, communication, because you're managing people and collaborating with different teams. Communication skills, yeah, a lot of soft skills for this one for management. Analytical, yeah, see, definitely. Agile is very low. So definitely got to pivot out of agile when it comes to certain things, because that's like ranked 10. That's the worst. Wow. Top 10 skills in sales and business development. Communication, of course, is self-explanatory. Sales, self-explanatory. Once you know how to do sales, you could apply sales to anything that you do. I mean, you're selling yourself on the job market. That's a sales skill. Boom. Communication makes sense. Salesforce, number 4. Okay, negotiation is kind of low. That kind of intertwines with sales and stuff, so that makes sense. Time management, okay. Time management is a beautiful skill, man. Underrated skill, in my opinion. And then the top 10 skills in information security. Communication skills make sense. You're talking to different departments, so yeah, it makes sense. Incident response definitely makes sense. Cybersecurity, self-explanatory. Analytical skills, self-explanatory. Risk management, I'm surprised that's low. I thought that would be like number 4, maybe even 5. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Top growing skills overall. So AI integration posts the sharpest rise in Q1 2025 with its share of ads up to 96%. Wow. While 9 other skills, including data driven decision making and project marketing, gain at least 60% in market adjusted growth. So we compared 600K unique job postings saved in Q4 2024 and Q1 2025, extracting skill requirements from each and calculating 2 numerized measures for each skill. So the job market, adjusted growth, and the percentage change by quarter. Interesting. Okay. So skill growth, company versus job market. So Q4 2024 and the Q1 2025. So, wow, data driven and decision making is a lot. Wow. It's the highest on this. So what's the lowest? Cold calling. Yeah. That's something that easily could get removed with AI. Especially if you have good branding and stuff. Because if you have good branding and good marketing, like good content creation for your product or service or whatever you're doing, that kind of warms up leads for you, so you don't have to hyper sell, you know? So that makes sense. Lead generation, yeah. Influence marketing, yeah. In AI integration, wow, that's high. Wow, okay. So job market versus company growth by skill. Yep, AI integration by the job market growth. Oh, yeah, job market growth. So by job market growth, that's pretty high. What's the lowest here? Cold call. Yeah, cold calling. Yeah. So top 3 is AI integration, data driven decision, product marketing, sales and stuff. Okay. And what about company growth? Yeah. Percentage growth adjusted for overall market trends. Okay. Let's see. So skill gap. Actually, how much more we have until? Yeah, we're still in skill gap. Still in skill gap. Let's go back to skill gap. Yeah. All right. So honestly, let's kind of end it there. We still have a little bit more. We're only right here, opposed to we have like about a few more here for gap. It's going to be interesting getting into like the survey and job scams and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. And salary expectations. This is going to be an interesting bit right here for the job search survey insights. But we're almost finished with the actual job market analysis part of it. So we're just going to end it here at the skill mark section. So yeah, this has been interesting looking over these different statistics and stuff for the Q1 2025 for Huntr's report. Once again, a lot of cool information here from Huntr. So once again, kudos to the team. It really kind of put in perspective of what's going on in job markets. So as long as you know what's going on, you could kind of formulate your plan to kind of maneuver through the job market with this good data. Because once again, data always tells a story. So yeah, so I'll see you guys next time.